Howdy, friends and floor heads. We've got yet another actual play. We're going to be playing Modiphius's 2D20 system, ACHTUNG Cthulhu. Now, this game originally was a supplement for Call of Cthulhu, but it was brought over to the kind of the house system of 2D20. This is my first 2D20 game. Modiphius has several other ones, Conan, Star Trek. I'm still getting used to it. I've run it once. This will be the second time I've run it. But one of the things that I immediately enjoyed in this game is the character creation. So our three players, Patrick, Victoria, and Mike, we're going to step through and create characters together. I think it'll be interesting for you to watch that process. But I guess the first thing we need to discuss as a group is what archetypes are we thinking? So Patrick, what archetype are you thinking?
For my character, I'm thinking about the Boffin, who's kind of the science technical nerd guy. Likes to build stuff, experiment with stuff, blow stuff up, that kind of stuff.
And Victoria, what were you thinking?
I'm thinking infiltrator.
Nice. And how about you, Mike?
I was going to go with the grease monkey.
All right. So the setting is obviously World War II. We're going to be playing 1940, the year 1940. And the Axis powers have discovered that there is a division of the Nazi regime called the Black Sun that has been dabbling in occult. They've been acquiring occult relics. They've been doing occult rituals. And to counteract that, the Allies put together Section M, Majestic, to counteract it. And they conscript people from within all of the different Allied armies and divisions, but they also conscript people from outside of the armies and divisions. So it'll be very interesting as we kind of step through this. We're going to figure out how each of these characters kind of came to be a part of this clandestine mission. All right, so let's start off with Tomas. Patrick, so what archetype were you thinking for Tomas?
So I am looking for him, Tomas Czerny. I'm thinking Boffin.
Okay.
His background, he's from Czechoslovakia, Prague, Charles University. So his war has been going on for a while, actually. Since 1938.
All right, so by default, your attributes are going to be 6.
Correct.
But we can go ahead and bump your brawn up by 1. So let's go ahead and on your sheet, make your brawn 7.
Okay.
Your coordination is going to get a +2 as a Boffin. So it'll put you at 8.
Correct.
And it looks, are you editing the one you shared with me? Because it's not updating on my side.
I am not editing it. I will, though.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's fine.
That way we can see it live. There we
get
go.
all the 6s in there real fast. Perfect. It was delaying for a second.
Awesome.
I was looking at the pre-one I've done.
Gotcha. So yeah, let's go brawn +1. Let's go ahead and do coordination +2. Boffin has insight +1 and reason +2.
8 right there.
All right, so let's scroll down to your skills. You'll now have a 1 in academia.
Get this down here. Okay, 1 rank.
Yep, a 2 in engineering. 2 in medicine. That might come in handy. 1 in observation. 1 in stealth. And 2 in vehicles.
Done.
So we're going to jump over to Victoria, but before we do that, you're going to get a chance to choose 2 focuses from engineering, medicine, and vehicle skills. So 2 total from those 3 categories. And we'll come back and find out what choices you made on that. So let's now go over to Victoria's sheet. So Victoria, Amelia, you've got archetype infiltrator. So let's take a look and see what the infiltrator gets. All right, so we'll go to your attributes. By default, they're all 6. Agility is going to go up by 2, so it'll be an 8. Your brawn will go up by 1. Your coordination up by 2. And your insight up by 1. So you'll notice that the archetypes, and you'll notice this throughout it, the way the system works is the choices you make will adjust the character. And there's several different series of choices they make, which is a little bit different than like a point buy system or rolling randomly for different things. And it's something that I thought was very interesting. I've seen it before, but not quite the way that Modifius does it. All right, let's go down to your skills.
Okay.
And for your skills, you're going to get a 2 in athletics.
Yep.
You're going to get a 1 in engineering, a 2 in fighting,
Okay.
a 1 in observation, a 2 in stealth, and a 1 in survival.
All right.
All right. So, like Patrick's character, you get to choose 2 focuses, but you have to pick out of either athletics, fighting, or stealth. So, if you go to page 48, we'll come back and just right to the right of which category your 2 focuses. Let's go to Mike's character. So, Mike, we've got Lucky.
Yep.
Nicholas Clementi. He is a grease monkey. So let's find the grease monkey. All right. Are you ready?
Fire away.
Let's do +1 brawn,
Got it.
+2 coordination,
Got it.
+1 insight, and
Yep.
+2 reason. If we scroll down to your skills, hey, thanks for the sub. We scroll down to the skills, you're going to have 1 in athletics,
Got it.
2 in engineering, 2 in persuasion, 1 in resilience, 1 in survival, and 2 in vehicles. And Mike, you get to pick 2 focuses as well, and you're going to pick out of engineering, persuasion, and vehicle skills. So you'll pick 2 out of those 3 categories. All right, we'll come back to that. So, Tomas, what did you pick for your focuses?
So my focuses, the first one I'm going to go with is electronics. That'll tie into his original background, what he was in school for and studying.
All right.
How do you want me to show that on here?
Let's highlight it.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, and then his second one, due to some of his extracurricular activities after the Nazis occupied, will be explosives.
Very cool.
Some more hands-on
So-
experience later.
Focuses are things that they can invoke, right? So if they're doing a check and that check applies to, in this case, electronics or explosives, it widens the range that they can get a critical success. Normally, a critical success is just rolling a 1. But if you have a focus, it expands it out to a 1, to whatever the rank is in that. So he's got a rank of 2 in engineering. And if he invokes electronics, then a 1, 2, or a 3 will give him a crit. So basically it makes it easier to get those higher values. All right, let's take a look at Amelia. So Amelia, you can pick 2 total.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like you're going rifles
Yep.
and rural stealth.
I think that is what I want to do. Yes.
I like that. So I think as things are forming, it looks like Victoria might be one of our main combat characters, which fits the archetype really, really well. Let's take a now look at Thomas. Thomas, Mike? What did Lucky decide on?
Well, one of them is aircraft.
Nice.
Let's do that with an underline. I'll highlight it in a second.
Sure.
And the other was mechanical engineering.
Very cool.
So 1 from engineering, 1 from vehicles.
All right. So now that we've picked our archetypes, now we need to go, and we'll stay right with you. Well, let's take a look at your talent options. So you get to choose 1 of 3 talents. One of your talents, Mike, you could choose is keep it steady. You love tinkering with your vehicles, and you can keep it working in the worst conditions. You could take quartermaster. You're used to ferry supplies around and dealing with suppliers, and you've been known to keep the occasional item for emergencies. Or born to drive. You're
That's
always
the one I was looking at.
All right, so let's go ahead and add that as your talent. Born to drive.
Where does that go?
let's see on this sheet.
Oh, there it is. Found it.
Got it? Okay,
Second
great.
page.
All right, let's now go to Tomas. Tomas, let's find Boffin and let's look at your choices for talents.
Yes,
So
sir.
you can go prototype. You can construct unusual and experimental devices. Lifesaver. You can bring people back from the brink of death and push the limits. Your knowledge of vehicles allows you to push their power to its limits. Which one fits Tomas?
Oh, his background is prototype all day.
Excellent. Let's go ahead and put prototype in there. Let me find our infiltrator. All right. For Amelia, your choices, Amelia, are acrobatic. You're extremely flexible and athletic, able to traverse obstacles quickly with a minimum of effort. Assassination. You are deadly against unaware foes, striking them down quickly and quietly. Or silent step. Your footsteps are eerily quiet, and passing unnoticed is as natural to you as breathing.
I'm trying to decide between assassination and silent step. I like both of them a lot.
So let's take a step back with Amelia, right? So
Mhm.
she's an infiltrator. She's good with rifles and with rural stealth. So both of your focuses fit those two. What are you thinking? Well, maybe this. Have you thought about what she did before the war?
A little bit.
Okay.
Um,
Does that in any way help between assassination and silent step?
thing is I can see both of them from
Okay.
before.
I want
think,
both of them.
I think. I think I might go silent step though.
I like it. I like it. Perfect. All right. So that takes care of our talents. Now, I'm going to stay with you, Victoria. Go ahead and add your belongings. You get camouflage clothing,
Mhm.
climbing equipment, and burglar's tools. My grease monkey is going to get mechanics tools and a contact vehicles. So, Mike, basically you can invoke and change the narrative, and you can say, you know, I've got a guy that's somehow involved with vehicles, and that can be your contact.
Got it.
And then for our boffin, you get mechanics tools or a contact mechanic. Which one are you going to go with?
Well, I think I can do two sets of tools as well, or two contacts.
Choose two sets
I'm
of tools, two contacts, or one set of tools and a contact. So you get to choose two total.
Yep. So I'm actually going to go for two sets of tools just because his background, his contacts are all back in Prague and Czechoslovakia.
Great. So
And I
which
don't
one are you
think
going
they
to
would
go
be-
with? Which two?
I'm going to go with mechanics tool or electrician's tools and demolition kit.
Excellent. 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 All right. So that takes care of that piece. Now we come to our next set of decisions. We've got our archetype. Now we go to nationalities. All right. So for Tomas, our nationality is
Check.
Czech. So that'll gives you 5 languages. You've got
I think
Czech.
I can pick. I think I could pick one of those as
Yep.
well as
Which one are you going
yes.
to pick?
Czech.
Czech. Okay, great. And then
I'm assuming we all know English, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Victoria, what are you going with for background?
I'm going with Canadian.
All right. And are you going to choose French?
I think so. Yes, French
Okay.
and English. Yeah.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, when I played the system the first time, I made a mistake of not giving everybody a common language. I'm hand waving it, and
no.
everybody gets English.
Uh-oh.
So we're going to assume that my players can all talk to each other. Mike, what background, what nationality are you going with?
I'm going with Canadian as well, a bush pilot
Excellent,
in the off years, so English and French.
beautiful. All right, so now we go to background. So you've got several different choices for background. And this is something that I think is really neat because it kind of splits up the archetype, right? You have the archetype of what they are now, and what background says is where did they come from, which is very, very, very interesting. So I'm going to read them off. If those playing at home, it's on page 65. Academic, Air Force, Army, athlete, covert operative, criminal, driver, engineer, entertainer, journalist, laborer, military officer, Navy, physician, police, politician, resistance, or spiritual leader. So, Tomas, what background are you thinking?
So while academic might make sense for just his background story, I'm actually going to do resistance.
Oh, very nice. All right. So let's
Cool.
see what resistance gives you. So I'm going to go to resistance. So back to your attributes.
Yep,
And this is going to add another one to your agility.
correct.
Your coordination is going to go up another one. Your reason will go up 2. And your will go up 2. For skills, this gives you an additional rank in persuasion.
Yep, I'm pulling that. Let me find that one down here. So persuasion goes to
Yep.
a 1.
Is adds 2 to your stealth. So that's going to put you at a 3 stealth. That's awesome. And you get 1 in tactics.
Okay.
Now you also get to pick another focus. You can choose 1 focus from stealth, or actually you get 2 more focuses, 1 from stealth and 1 from any other skill. So we'll come back to you as you decide that. All right, Victoria, what are you thinking for background?
I'm not sure. I was originally thinking I might randomize it, but looking at the table and thinking about the backstory I want for her, I may actually go with covert operative.
Very cool. All right, so let's look at covert operative. You work behind enemy lines as an agent of a special service like Britain's Special Operations Executive. Very cool. All right, so you have been in the fight for a long time. This has been what you do, as opposed to maybe Mike and Patrick, which sounds like they may not be full-time soldiers. So let's talk about what happens to your attributes.
Mm-hmm.
Your agility is going to go up 2.
Ma'am, please. Agility. Right here. Okay. Up 2.
All right. And your coordination is going to go up 1.
Okay.
Insight is going to go up 1. And your will is going to go up 2.
Okay.
Looking at your skills, you're going to add 1 in persuasion.
Okay.
All right. You're going to add 2 to your stealth. Oh, you're going to have a 4 stealth. Holy cow.
Yeah. Sneaky.
Anyone see where she went? Nope.
Yeah. And then
Sneaky.
1 in
It's not just me and
tactics.
Mike playing this game. Who we have another person?
And then we'll add another 1 to your tactics. So you get a 1 in tactics.
All right.
All right. So skills. We just did that. Focus. You get to choose 1 focus from stealth.
Okay.
And 1 focus from any other skill. So we'll come back and find out what 2 foci you chose.
All right.
Big Mike, talk to me about Lucky. What is his Lucky's background?
I was tossing it between 2 things. I finally did settle, but I'll tell you the 2 I was looking at. One was an entertainer,
Nice.
barnstormer, which was something that what flyers did in between World War I and World War II,
Yeah.
just flying and giving people flights. And the other is driver, and I was thinking a bush pilot, just doing deliveries to the north. So I think I settled on driver, but barnstormer was there and fighting for a chance to be an entertainer. but
Ve-
I'll go with driver.
Excellent. All right. So let's go to your attributes first. So this is going to bring your brawn up another 1. Your
Yep.
coordination goes up 2. That puts you at 10 coordination. Wow. Your insight is going to go up 2. And your reason is going to go up 1. All right. For skills, your athletics adds 1. Your engineering adds 1. And your vehicles goes up 2. You're going to have a 4 in vehicles.
Well, that's what he's been doing
Yeah.
for a long time. So
Totally makes sense.
why can I not see vehicles on this? What did I do wrong? Oh, there it
It's
is.
right at the bottom. Yep.
Yep.
All right. And so you get to choose a focus, 1 focus from vehicles and 1 focus from any other skill. So we'll come back to you. Okay.
Well, I can do it right now if you want.
Sure.
Okay. Since I already took aircraft as 1 focus, the second one will be heavy vehicles, trucks and
Nice.
the like. And for the other one is first aid out of medicine.
Very nice. So Mike, you're going to, there's a concept in the game called a truth. And what a truth is a truth is something that affects the game. So characters, NPCs, they can have truths. A scene can have truths. So an example in a scene is, I could say it's raining, and that's a truth. And because that's a truth in the scene, it's going to affect the scene, right? It's going to affect roles. You get to choose from a list, or you can create your own. So the 3 that they offer you are obsessive motorist, speed freak, and aerobatic daredevil.
I've got another one, so I'm going to ask you if this is permissible, because
Sure.
I figure that's a GM call. Is who cares about the weather?
Okay, I love it.
Which is
That's a
pretty
great
much
truth.
a bush pilot will fly into anything. And as a driver, he will go out. Who cares if there's sheets of ice for roadways? I'll drive on it.
Oh, that's great. That's great. All
I
right,
like that.
let's go back to Tomas. So, what did we choose for our next 2 talents?
Well, I feel like these should focus, personally, I feel like these should focus off my background. So I'm going to do covert operations.
Nice.
And then under tactics, I am going to go back, under, I had it selected just a second ago. I need to go back and find it real fast. I just lost it. Where did it go? Covert operations and medicine observation. Bah, I just lost it. Give me 2. Oh, so I had to be under stealth. That's right.
Yep.
Urban stealth. My other one has to be from stealth, so it'll be urban stealth.
Perfect. All right, so let's talk about your truth.
Don't we get one more talent as well from the stealth? You get one more talent here too.
Oh yeah.
correct?
Oh shit. Yeah.
Did Mike pick a talent? I might have missed
No,
it.
Mike, I shorted you a talent. So if you go to the talents, which are on 93, Mike, let's go back to you real quick.
What was your background, Mike?
Driver
So you get
is
to
the
pick
background.
look through the talents on page 95, and anything with the vehicle keyword you can pick.
Okay, I'll take a look.
All right, great. All right, so for resistance, you get to choose one from the stealth keyword, Patrick. Have you already made that decision?
I did. I'm going to pick facing the crowd.
What's that do?
So you know how to hide in plain sight. You act like you belong. As long as I'm wearing appropriate clothing or suitable disguise, enemies attempting an observation test to notice me within a group of other people increase the difficulty by +1.
Very nice.
He's just the face in the crowd.
Very cool. All right, so let's talk about your truth.
Yes.
You have confidence saboteur, Emire allied agent. Not even sure what the heck that is.
I'm not 100% positive myself.
Or valiant cell leader.
Mine is going to be confident saboteur.
I like it. All right, so now let us go to covert operative. Tori, what did you end up picking for your other focus?
Well, I chose another focus in fighting, and I went with threat awareness.
Nice.
And then for my stealth one, I was also going to go urban stealth, but then Patrick chose that, so I changed it to camouflage.
I like it. I like it. All right. So you're going to be able to choose on page 93 is a list of talents. You're going to be able to choose one from the stealth keyword.
I think I am going to go with like a shadow.
What does that do?
You're quiet, and even when things go sideways, you're quick to minimize the disturbance you cause. When the scene involves enemy alertness or a pursuer closing in on you, you increase the resistance of the consequence by +2.
Very nice. And then let's talk about your truth. The three they suggest is cover identity, silent killer, and resistance member. Or you can make your own truth.
I think I'm going to go with cover identity.
Very cool. All right.
Yeah.
So the last thing, and at the bottom of each of your backgrounds, it has belongings. We can do that in between, but don't worry about it if you don't have time to do it. That's something that we can take care of during the break if need be.
Okay.
So that takes care of backgrounds. So the fifth.
Just so I can tell you, I
Please,
did
Mike.
get my vehicle one, and it's off road.
Oh, cool. All right. So then we get to pick a characteristic, which is, again, going to impact the stats, the skills, and all the different choices. So their choices are bookworm, born behind the wheel, built like a brick outhouse, conscientious objector, criminal mindset, dilettante, dreamwalker, escaped from Europe, experimental subject, my war started early, nomadic, own an occult artifact, raised by a cult, raised in the colonies, read from an occult book, scientific visionary, street kid, the lucky one, and veteran of the Great War. Patrick, what are we thinking for Tomas?
So I'm torn between two, and it kind of needs to figure. It's working in my background. It's either going to be my war started early or own an occult artifact.
Okay.
I kind of want to just go weird, so I'm going to do own an occult artifact, and I have a way to work that in. It
Great.
won't have been in his family a long time, but it's going to go why he's not in Czechoslovakia anymore.
Excellent. All right. So let's go back to your attributes. And let's see what owning this artifact does. It's going to up your reason by 1. I'll put you at 11 reason, which is insane. It's going to up your will by 1. And it's going to add +1 to any other attribute. So what other attribute are you going to add 1 to?
Probably my insight.
Excellent. Okay, skills. You can add +1 to either observation, persuasion, or stealth.
I'm going to go 1 to observation.
Excellent. Let's add +1 to resistance.
You mean resilience?
Resilience, sorry.
No worries.
He's in the resistance.
+1
He
to
has
2 of the
resilience.
And then you then get to do +1 to 2 other skills. I'm very interested what you're going to choose. They can't be the same skill.
So I'm going to go to engineering, and I am going to go to I'm actually going to drop 1 into fighting.
Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. You now get to choose a talent with the weird keyword. That's on page 96.
And I know the one I want there if I went this way.
Okay.
Bizarre insight.
What does
Craig
that
gets
do?
to have some fun with me. So your mind shows glimpses of things you couldn't otherwise. Once per scene, you may generate 1 threat to obtain information. Ask the GM a question without passing a skill test.
Wow, that's cool. All right, and then You can use the truth, own an occult artifact, or make one up related to the acquisition of that item.
I know the story. Let me think about how to say it.
Yep. So let's do that. And then you've also got your options on belongings there as well.
Okay.
Victoria, what were you thinking?
Raised by a cult.
Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. All right. Raised by let's see.
It's Canadians.
Own an occult artifact. Read from
Oh, we've
raised by
had
a
our
cult.
share too.
All right. Attribute changes.
Yes.
You're going to add +1 to your brawn. +1 to your insight. And +1 to any other attribute. What are you going to choose?
I think I'm going to add to reason,
Excellent.
as that's the only one that hasn't been upped
Yep.
at this point.
All right. And from a skills standpoint, you
Yes.
can add +1 to either. Let's see. No, you don't have the choices. For skills, it's +1 to academia, +1 to resilience, +1 to stealth, and then +1 to any other skill.
Let's do +1 to survival.
I like that.
Good God.
All right. So
We're
talent.
never going to see her.
I know that's amazing. For talents, you can choose one talent with the stealth, resilience, or weird keyword. Have you had a chance to thumb through them?
I have not gone.
All right, we'll come back to it,
talents,
Victoria.
So, yes.
All right, Mike, what is your choice?
Okay, I wanted to ask you one quick question before I told you, because I had two choices. One was experimental subject,
Okay.
connected with technology, and the other was veteran of the Great War.
Okay.
How weird do you want it?
That is I'm all weird. So I have no trouble with it getting weird. So if that sounds good to you, let's do it.
No, it's just I have his nickname in the lucky. If I go with the weird, then I use the foreboding, which is kind of being able to dodge bad things at the last second.
Very cool. Very cool. So we're going to go experimental subject.
We'll go with experimental subject.
All right. So
Magnus. It was all magnetism.
oh, that's cool. All right. So your attributes: +1 agility, +1 brawn, and then +1 to any other attribute.
We're going to go 11 to coordination.
That's amazing. All right. And let's drop your 67 in agility down to 7.
Oh, sorry about
That's
that.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then your skills.
Yep.
You get to do +1 to each of any 4 skills, but they cannot be the same. So you have a ton of flexibility here.
Okay. Let's see. We're going to go 1 to vehicles.
Okay. Put you at 5 on vehicles.
We're going to go 1 to tactics.
I like it.
And we're going to go another 1 to survival. And 1 to engineering.
Excellent. So for those of you watching, this is, again, you kind of see how neat this is, right? It's a branching tree as they make these different decisions about characteristics, backgrounds, archetypes. That's how their skills and their focuses and their attributes are all changing. And then for experimental subject, there's the belongings down there, Mike, if you want to work on that as well.
Yeah.
Victoria, where did we end up?
I think I'm going to go with Minor Pact.
What is Minor Pact?
It's the weird keyword. You've always found if you leave a little food and drink aside at night, it'll be gone in the morning and something good will happen to you. You wonder what might happen if you offer more than just food and drink. If you keep up the small offerings made each night, you gain 1 additional fortune point at the start of each adventure. At the GM's discretion, you may gain greater benefits for larger, more significant offerings.
That's
That
amazing.
was so cool. I
All
saw
right, so-
that one. It's so cool.
Mike,
That
let's
is
go.
cool.
Let's go to your talents for experimental subject.
Foreboding survival.
And what does that do?
Every so often, it feels like you narrowly avoid disaster thanks to some unknown guiding hand. How you avoid this is unknown, but bad luck seems to fall to those around you. Sorry, guys. Once per session, when you suffer an injury, you may generate 3 threat to avoid the injury.
Ooh, nice. Very
At
nice.
GM's discretion, you may be offered the chance to avoid another misfortune in exchange for generating 3 threat. In other words, thus the lucky.
Yep. Yep. That makes a ton of sense. All right. So from a truth, obviously they recommend experimental subject. Or did you make up your own that's related to your time as a human guinea pig?
I was just going to write, it's all done with magnets.
I love it. I think that's a great truth.
And I have my truth, by the way, too. When you're
All
ready.
right, Patrick, what's your truth?
It's called keep it secret, keep it safe.
Okay. That's good. All right. And then raised by a cult. Let's see.
So where do we write? Is talents for voting survival? Is that where that goes?
That was a talent, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Amelia,
Mm-hmm.
what did we decide on your next talent?
Oh yeah, we went with Minor Pact.
Oh, that's right. Minor pact. How about
Yeah.
a truth? Raised by a cult is a suggestion, or
mhm.
you can make up your own describing your membership of the cult. Do you know what kind of cult it was?
I do. Um,
What kind of cult was it?
well, according to my background, I wanted her to come from a family of cryptid hunters, right? So I'm picturing the cult revolving around that.
So why did they hunt them? Did they hunt them to eliminate them, to capture them, to harness the power? Why are they hunting cryptics?
So mostly to eliminate them and keep people safe, basically.
There's
There's
all kinds.
maybe
Go
mhm.
ahead. Nope.
there's maybe not a whole lot of understanding in the group of like which ones are actually threatening and which ones are just existing.
So there's a ton of opportunities in there for
Mhm.
truths, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if anybody in chat has any ideas. What would be a good truth here?
Suffer not the unclean to live. Purge the unclean, something like that. Depends on
Yeah.
how militaristic they were.
My idea was you don't see them, but they don't see me.
Made Bigfoot cry.
What'd you say, Victoria?
Made Bigfoot cry.
That could be a truth.
Sure, we'll go.
I love it. All right. And then you've got belongings there as well. So last but not least, let's talk about bonus challenges dice. So for each of your attributes, we'll start with you, Tomas. You have got a 9 in coordination. So that gives you +1. Put that under your coordination.
Okay, 1 second. Make sure I find this. Coordination is on the sheet I'm looking. Oh, yeah, so +1. Got it?
Yep. And then you have 11 in reason. So it's +2 die. So any
Awesome.
damage related to reason or coordination, get a bonus.
Okay.
And then will is 9. So that's going to give you a +1. All right. We go over to Amelia. Amelia, your agility is going to give you +2 die bonus damage. You put it right under agility. And then your coordination is going to be +1.
Okay.
And then your insight is going to be +1 as well.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. And it looks like you've already filled yours in, Mike.
I listened to the others and just went with the pattern.
Good. +1 brawn, +2 coordination, +1 insight, and +1 reason. All right. I think we have our characters.
Yay!
Excellent.
So let's quickly transition over. So we are going to take a quick break. We'll take a quick 10-minute break. When we get back from the break, I'm going to set the scene and we're going to start playing. And we did this in under an hour, so we'll be able to easily get a good hour or hour and a half of play in. So everybody will be
Awesome.
back in 10 minutes.
All right.
right, we are back. Let's get that right there. You guys ready to play?
Absolutely.
All right. So the screen starts black. And we see the lettering June 1940. Under that, it says 3,000 feet above occupied France. And as we start to fade in, we see the three of you sitting in a C-47 troop carrier plane. The plane is shaking. You can hear the violence that's happening outside the plane. Now, when you left England, it was a smooth and uneventful flight. But now you're over occupied France, and it appears you've run into a storm. Of course, on your back is a parachute. And your parachute has a string that's attached to a wire that runs the entire length of the plane. It's so loud in there, even if you were to yell, you would have a hard time hearing each other as you look across the plane at each other sitting. From the front of the plane, an airman throws open the door from the cockpit and runs in and goes up to Lucky, and he yells Lucky into your ear. He goes, "The storm is too strong. We can't get you any closer. We're going to have to let you drop here." And he walks away and throws open the door, and the wind and the rain just starts to fill the main body of the plane. Each of you stand up and start heading for the drop. Before we do that, I am curious who has jumped out of a plane before.
I don't think Tomas ever would have.
Mike would have
Well,
jumped out.
it was shot down, so it wasn't I
Okay.
voluntarily jumped out. It's just I had to.
All right. So it looks like Lucky and Amelia have jumped out of a plane before, but this might be Tomas's first time. So
Yep.
I'm imagining Tomas is in the middle. Maybe Lucky in the front, and Amelia, you'll take up the rear.
Sure.
So the airman goes, "Go, go, go, go." The lights flashing around. Lucky jumps out.
Grabbing my rabbit's foot in one hand and the emergency cord in the other, off I go.
Tomas jumps out.
He just grabs it. You see him grabs his chest for a second and just be like, whatever, and jumps.
And then Amelia?
Let's go.
Amelia jumps out as well. So we see the parachute start to open, and then we fade to black. And it comes back and it says 8 hours before. We're in the basement somewhere in London. The ceiling is really low. The three of you are standing around a table. Spread out on the table, there is a map. It looks like of a village, an aerial drawing of a village. Standing there is a British officer who has purposely not offered his name. As he looks at that, he says, "All right, listen up. This is CTHULHU. That's where we're going to drop you. We got a coded message from a local resistance leader in this French village. His name is Aramis. The message was garbled. We couldn't pick all of it up. But here's what we were able to piece together. He said the Black Sun has a presence in this village. We're pretty sure he said that Jan Stoller was also spotted in the village. So for all three of you, you have been working and done missions with Majestic enough to know that he is a big, bad, nasty within Black Sun. We also think he mentioned a convoy of trucks bringing in supplies as well as additional Black Sun soldiers. I've got a plane ready for you. We're going to drop you into the northeast section, just northeast of CTHULHU. This is your mission. You are first to find and make contact with Aramis. He will give you a coded phrase. He will ask you in English for an English, or he'll ask you in English for a cigarette. You are to respond, I only have lucky strikes. When we drop you into the northeast section of the village, it is our understanding that most of the resistance meets somewhere within the storm cellars of the homes in the northeast part of the village. That's where you should look to try to find Aramis. Once you find him, assuming he's still alive, I need you to get as much intel about what's going on in that village from him as you can. I then need you to investigate and try to figure out why the Black Sun is in this tiny French village. And if you identify any immediate threats, and he looks right at Amelia, eliminate them. You're going to have radio silence. We will not reach out or try to contact you. If we do not hear from you within 3 days, we will be sending in another team. Does any of the three of you, do you think you would have asked our British officer a question or questions?
Extraction.
That we will have to figure out. You reach out to us once you've eliminated any threats and have established what is going on in that village, and we'll arrange to have you picked up.
When you said the contact with the resistance was garbled, was it bad radio communication or was the message intercepted? Like, how did it get broken up?
It appears to be a bad connection, but it was very difficult for us to say. There's nothing indicating in our chatters that in any way it was intercepted.
Thomas will just raise his hand.
Tomas?
This Janus, if he should have an accident, there is no problem with that, right?
He is considered a threat, and one of your missions is to eliminate any immediate threats.
Good.
I would
Less
prefer
Black Sun.
the Black Sun is not aware that Majestic has been involved.
It's
But
fine.
if you have to reveal yourselves in order to eliminate any threats, that's acceptable.
It's fine. Unless Black Sun does the world a favor.
Any other questions before we cut back to you flying through the air on parachutes?
How appropriate is collateral damage?
This is an innocent village. I would prefer if it was minimized. But again, you are to assess any threats, understand why the Black Sun is there. I trust you to balance and understand how much needs to be done based on the level of threat that's being presented by them.
He's just got a little notebook and he's just writing. Okay.
So we cut back and we're going to do our first roll. So the way this system works is when you do a roll, it's going to be a combination of your attribute, an attribute, and a skill. So you add those together and that becomes a target number. You'll then, by default, roll 2d20s. The roll will have a difficulty associated with it. And anytime that you roll at or below that combined number, that's considered a success. So if something was difficulty 2, and on 2d20, in order to be successful, you would need to roll both of those d20s at or below your target number. But it doesn't end there. If you have excess successes, you can spend them for different things, extra damage, or you can add to what's called your momentum pool. So for those of us watching in the lower left-hand corner, you can see right now the double up arrow symbol there. That's the current momentum pool, which is 0. It maxes at 6, so you want to spend it.
Okay.
One of the things you can spend momentum on is to add a d20. You also can add a d20 by giving me threat. So if you are in a situation like you are now, where you're out of momentum, you can give me threat, and that will allow you to add dice as well. So the truth of this scene is severe storm. And that immediately is going to make this a difficulty 2 task.
Okay.
So Lucky jumped out first.
Yep.
Does Lucky
And
want to go ahead, Patrick?
Go ahead. I said I did think of something Tomas would have asked. He would have just asked for any maps, surveillance, dossiers in the resistance, just anything he had, and he would just note it, fold it, pack a pack with it.
And what
He
he
would go to
what
the
he
dossier.
told you is that the reason this makes no sense is at no point does this village present any type of strategic advantage. It's never been part of any Nazi attention. Them being here makes no sense.
Okay.
So and
good.
he gives you the map that he had on the table, so you have no trouble grabbing that
Sounds
from
good.
him.
Perfect.
In
He
answer
wants,
to
he wants all the information.
Sure.
Knowledge is power.
in answer to what you were about to ask, well, my truth is, who cares what the weather is? So no, I'm not going to apply anything. I'm jumping. So it's raining a little.
All right.
Just a
So
little
what is
rain.
I need to an athletics plus agility test. So what does that make your target number?
Let's see. My athletics is 2, and agility is 7.
All right, so that means your target number is 9. So we're going to do 2d20,
Okay.
and you're going to need, you want both of them to be 9 or less.
No.
Neither are. Now, normally a crit failure is a 20, but the difficulty increases the range of that. So because it's difficulty 2, a 19 and 20 is a critical failure. So another resource that you have, Lucky, is you have your fortune. You get 3 of them per session. If you like, you can spend a fortune and go down to 2, and one of the benefits is you can re-roll those dice.
I think I'd best do that.
I
'cause
agree.
Pancaking right at the beginning sounds like a bad way to start the game.
All right, so let's take yourself down to 2 fortune, and
Okay,
let's
how?
do. You just mark it wherever you want to mark it,
Okay,
and then
and roll again.
let's roll again.
Ooh, there we go.
Much better. So I'd be curious. Did you have anything within athletics or agility as a focus?
Let me take a glance. Nope. Athletics, nope. And agility, no.
All right. So for
I
those
didn't put any foci in that.
okay, so he rolled a 2 and a 3. Now a critical success would be a 1, but if he was able to invoke a focus on either on his athletics, then it increases the range based off of that. So if he had a 2 in athletics and had a focus in athletics and it applied, then his critical successes would increase. All right, so we know that Lucky is quite successful.
Nice.
Who is next? Thomas, you were in the middle, right?
Tomas. Yep.
Tomas,
So
sorry.
Tomas will jump.
Is
Oh, that's
Tomas
fine.
giving me any threat?
That's how the English do it all the time. Anglicizing everything. So it's agility plus athletics, right?
Yep. What's your target?
7.
Okay.
Fun.
Do you want to get a third die?
And that is by spending threat, right?
What you'll do is you'll increase my threat from 6 to 7.
I have fortune, right?
You have fortune for a reroll. You sure do.
Then I will not give you threat.
All right. So you need to roll 2 dice, 7 or less.
Hope. See?
Do you
Trust
want
the
to?
dice.
You needed to get 2 successes though for a difficulty 2. Do you want to spend a fortune to reroll that 10?
Oh, that's right.
You have a 10 and a
need
4.
to- I will spend a fortune to reroll. So I'll go to 2 fortune, and I
Yep.
will reroll that.
And then
10.
you'll just roll 1d20.
Nope.
All right. So you're gonna fail. Now we're gonna see Amelia. Amelia, what is your athletics and agility combined?
My athletics and agility. My agility is a 10, and my athletics is a 2.
So you're at a 12. So do you want to give me a threat to get a third die?
I need to roll under a 12 for both of them?
For
or
both, right? So yeah, this is a difficulty 2, which means you need 2 successes.
2 12 or unders.
think I can make that happen.
All right.
And I have fortune, so
Okay.
2 d20s. Oof.
Would you like to re-roll that critical failure?
Yes, please.
This is starting
All right.
wonderful.
Yes, please.
We're going to keep the 5. Let's use a fortune, and let's re-roll just 1d20 and hope it's not a 20. That's a 10, so that's 2 successes. So you made both of them. All right, so we have Lucky makes it, Amelia makes it, Tomas not so much. So
Well, we both have skydived, and he hasn't. It's just, beginner's bad luck.
as you guys are starting to go down, it is very, very difficult for all three of you to get your bearings. In fact, and you start turning and twisting. So you think you have a sense of where the village is, but after the twisting and the turning and looking down, you're having a very, very difficult time keeping track of where you are. Lucky and Amelia, you're able to quickly identify a field where it's going to be safe for you to land. You notice that there doesn't appear to be any buildings close by. There's no lights there. So immediately you start steering your parachute towards this field. Lucky, you land like it's a soft pillow. Amelia's right behind you, and she lands running and stops. Then we see Tomas come down and crash right into the ground. So we're going to use 3 stress dice.
Fun.
So you see how the D20s work. For damage, and damage is done to stress, it uses D6s. They have funky dice, but you can use regular D6s. A 1 is 1 stress damage. A 2 is 2 stress damage. A 3 and a 4 is nothing. A 5 is 1 and a 6 is 1, but you get a special condition, or you can trigger a special condition with a 5 or a 6. So I'm going to roll 3d6.
Okay.
Ooh, just 1 damage.
That is just going to be, so take 1 stress.
All right. So I'll put an X on my sheet. Okay. That was invigorating. I'd never do that again.
I start gathering up the shoots, bundling them together and trying to figure out a place we can stuff them.
Thomas immediately pulls out the map, Tomas does, and starts trying to locate where we're at.
Okay. What's Amelia doing?
Looking around, seeing what is there to be seen in this field in the middle of the storm.
Fantastic. So the storm is strong, and the rain almost hurts. It's pure darkness from where you are, which is partially where you wanted to land, right? But you have no sense of north, south, east, west. You have no sense really where the village is. You've got trees surrounding where you are in this open field. So Lucky, you wanted to try to get rid of and hide those parachutes.
Yep.
What do you want to use to do that? What combination of attribute and skill?
Let's see. I'm going to go with using insight for being able to, see where the best place to stuff it is. And I don't have camouflage or anything like that. Just engineering so it doesn't flap away.
Beautiful.
Which is one of my foci. So just so it's not, we stuff it, the wind catches it, and 5 minutes later, there's a giant jellyfish flying through the sky.
Sure. I'm great with that combination. So, Mike, what does that give you as a target number when you combine those two, that attribute and skill?
Insight is 9, and my engineering is 4, with mechanical engineering being focus.
All right. So that's going to give you a target number of 13. Now, normally, this would be a difficulty 1 process, right? I would want 1 success. But in this case, the truth of the storm is going to help you. So it's going to drop this down to difficulty 0. So why are you rolling dice?
I was about to ask that.
Any successes you roll will add to your momentum.
And critical failure is I lose one of them and it goes flapping off in the wind.
Exactly.
So roll 2 die, shall I?
Roll 2d. Yep, 2d20. All right. So you're going to gain for that 7. You're going to go ahead and gain 1 momentum. So you've got 1
Yep.
momentum. For that critical failure, I'm going to put that in my back pocket, but that's exactly what happens is the wind catches. Let's have it be Tomas's as you cut him from the lines. He's not helping you. He's confusing you. Just the thing is going, and just the wind comes and just picks up that parachute and it flies away. We'll see if that affects things later. But the other 2,
Okay.
you have no trouble hiding.
Okay.
All right, Tomas, what did you want to do now?
Tomas wanted to, after the parachute fiasco, he's doesn't seem emotional. He's just like seems annoyed by all of this. And he wants to pull the map out and he wants to locate where we are and how we get to where we need to go.
All right, so
He
what do
has
you
the
think is a
maps and all that stuff?
good combination of
notes.
attribute and skill to do that?
So I think this would be reason,
I like it.
both because I'm really good at it and I think that fits.
Yep, reason fits.
For skills, I'm not sure if this would be
I'm thinking survival.
observation. I think
I was thinking survival.
survival. Okay, that's
Because I
fine.
think you're trying to
That
get
works.
a sense of a kind of the bigger picture, right? So not just looking
Yeah,
around.
that's true. You have orienteering. That's true. Yeah. So this will
Yeah.
just be just be an 11 for me.
All right, so now you have got a momentum. So you can add a die, spend that momentum to roll 3d6. This is going to be difficulty 2. It would be normally difficulty 1, but because of the storm, it's going to be difficulty 2.
Okay. Does my +2 for reason play any role in this?
No, it does not. That's only if you have damage associated with reason. You're talking about
Gotcha,
your
okay.
bonus. Yeah.
So I'm rolling 2 dice at 11, correct?
2 dice with a target of 11 or less, and you need to get a success, at least 2 successes.
I do want to spend the momentum. For
All right,
this.
so you're going to spend that momentum. That takes us back
Seems
down to
im-
0, and then let's go ahead and roll
knowledge is
3d6. And we just need 2 of them to be below what?
Nope, 11. And I did
Oh,
not get
so you
that.
got 1 success. You did not get the second success. So, Tomas, you're looking at the map. You're trying to get a sense, where it could be, but there's fields all over the place on the outskirts of this map. You could be north, south, east, west. It's very, very difficult to tell. You look up to see if there's maybe some stars, but you realize everything's clouded over. The storm is completely doing it.
Yeah.
I think out of sheer frustration, you might just fold the map up. You don't have a sense of where you are.
Yeah, I'm assuming that maybe that rough landing busted his compass a little bit or something.
Oh, I like that. That's great. All right, Amelia, what are we trying to do?
I'm trying to just look around and see if I can find lights in the distance or anything.
Okay. All right. So I'm thinking observation combined with what?
Maybe insight.
I love it. So what's your insight
9.
and your observation?
My observation is a 1. So
All right.
it's
So
10.
we need, this is going to be a 2 difficulty again, because of the storm. It goes from 1 to 2. So we'll need 2 successes
Okay.
on a 10 or less.
On 2 dice.
That's correct.
Oof. No.
Oof.
All right. So from where you are, Amelia, you can't quite see any type of lights, get any sense of what that is. So the 3 of you are in this field. Rain is pouring down. The wind is pushing through you.
I hate this already.
That's
you're
just
trying-
rain.
As Lucky's stowing away and trying to hide after losing one of the parachutes, hiding the other 2 parachutes, we see Amelia's head on a swivel, trying to get a sense of what is immediately around here. Tomas looking at the map, just trying his best to do it. That's when all 3 of you feel like a strange vibration. It starts in your jaw and it starts to rattle your teeth. And suddenly your skin, is cold. Not from outside, but from inside, almost clammy. And your brain feels like it's a balloon suddenly, and it's starting to expand inside of your skull, pressing on the inside of your skull. And the wind, instead of hitting your clothes, seems to be penetrating your clothes and just cutting directly right into the center of you. For each of you, I'm going to do 3d6 of stress damage. I'm going to start with Tomas. All right, so that's going to be 2 stress. And what I don't think we figured out your max stress. What was your max stress?
I do not know. So that is done by. I don't think we did do that.
I don't think we did either. We can
Sure.
look it up here in a second. All right. So next we're going to do Lucky.
I'll look at that while you're doing Lucky's.
Appreciate it. Lucky, you take just 1 stress. Amelia.
All right.
Amelia, you just take 3 actually.
3.
Yep. 2 for the 2 and 1 for the let's see, let me make sure I'm right. No, just take the 2. The 4, 3 and a 4 is nothing. So the 2 just gives you 2 stress.
Okay, so I have it. It is.
Brawn plus resilience.
It is
or
either
will.
brawn
Yep.
plus or will plus resilience, whichever is higher.
Got it. So what does that put you at, Tomas?
So my will plus resilience, I'm at 10. Is my
Okay.
max stress check.
And Lucky, what is your
I'm also at 10.
beautiful? And how about for Amelia?
I'm at 9.
Okay, great. 9 is your max, and now you're down to 7.
Yes.
Yeah, and we
Oh.
should do the courage and armor too.
Yeah, courage is based off of
Will.
yeah.
So that is for me that would be a 1 in my courage, and my armor is a 0.
Okay. And can you tell Victoria and Mike how you figured that out?
Yeah. So
Oh,
on page 79 under resistance.
You got it. All right.
Looks-
So
I
you
have a will of 6.
My courage and my armor are both 0s. So
okay. So Tomas, you have a courage of 1, and what does Lucky have for courage?
I think probably 0, but I'm just
Probably 0.
checking.
So Tomas, that courage is going to allow you to reduce that damage by 1. That stress
Okay,
damage.
good.
So what did I give
So
you?
I'll only take 1 then.
All right. So
Good.
yeah, instead of 2, you'll take 1. So you guys, the 3 of you are all affected by it. The amount of stress it gives you varies between you, but you all feel that. It lasts for maybe 10, 15 seconds.
I look around to
That
see if
was
they
weird.
felt
Alright.
what I felt.
Yeah, you see Tomas just kind of hunch and shudder for a second, and then just tighten back up, like shake it off for a second. Is there any check I could do to like figure out what that was?
I don't know. You tell me.
I'm trying to figure out what like occult would be in this a little bit. Maybe occultism is an academia, so reason plus occultism.
So a reason plus academia.
Yes.
I'd be up for that. And let's do a combined roll here. So
Okay.
between the 3 of you, who has the best when you combine reason and academia?
I have a 12.
I've got an 8.
Got me beat.
All right. So here's what's going to happen. This is going to be 3 difficulty.
Okay.
Patrick, you roll and you have to get at least 1 success.
Okay.
And then both Lucky and Amelia get to roll a d20. And any successes will combine in there. So we need 3 successes total between the 3 of you. So Patrick's leading.
And I'm going for a 12. Okay. So 2d20, 12 or under.
Yep. So you got
it.
2 of the successes. We need 1 more success. So Lucky, roll a d20, and Amelia, roll a d20.
Got it.
Well, I
So-
would have failed. So
Tomas, you first off, you get a sense that this was targeted, like it came from somewhere, right? So it didn't just appear and surround you. It came like a wave, and it seems to have come from the northeast of where you are. So if imagine wherever you're standing right now, looking forward, it's off to your forward and to your right. So it came from that direction. And your gut says it's definitely magic, and it feels ritualistic.
Okay. Tomas looks at the other 2 and is just like, I felt similar things. They used this stuff in Prague. against the demonstrators. Be wary. All right, and he's going to want to head up kind of in that direction of it. He wants to find what this is.
When you're shot
He
at,
gets a little bit of a fey light in his eyes, and he's like, "We need to find this and eliminate it."
Do we agree?
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm all for it, and my guess would have been heading in that direction because the guy yelled to me just before we jumped that this was as far as they could take us, which implies we hadn't gotten to the target drop area, which means we would have, if we're coming from England to France, we would have been on that line. So heading more east makes a bit of sense. And if we got blown slightly south, but easterly was the direction I was going to say anyways.
Tomas will keep his map out. I'm assuming I have waterproof maps. They were kind of standard then. He'll have that out and keep trying to locate as we go. If I see any roads or anything like that.
So you begin to head out. I assume doing our best not to walk down the middle of roads or anything like that. You work your way through a patch of forest, and you do end up finding a dirt road. And the dirt road seems to be headed both away from where this thing happened and towards it. And based on what you're telling me, we're going to head towards it.
I think so, yeah.
As that begins to happen, you're staying out of sight, ready to, if there anything were to approach from either side on this road, you're preparing to, jump away, get outside of it.
Are there ditches along the side of the road?
There are.
Ah, perfect.
Amelia, I think you notice it first. Up the road, off to the right, maybe 50 yards away, there seems to be a farmhouse. And there seems to be a light in the farmhouse.
Okay. Don't point it
What
out.
does she say to us?
Looks
Okay.
like there's a house over there.
What do we want to do?
I would think we should approach it, but cautiously.
Sneaky sneaks.
Yeah, definitely.
So the rain's beating down. You guys are going to approach cautiously. I'm wondering if there's anybody in this party that's really good at that.
Gosh, I wonder.
I can't imagine who that would be.
All right.
Imagine who that would be.
So for Amelia, this would normally be difficulty 1, but again, because of the rain, it goes down to difficulty 0.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to use what 2 attributes in order for you to sneak up and get a view on this place?
Stealth, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
is probably a good one. And how about agility?
Sure. So what's that make your target number?
Well, agility is 10 and stealth is 5, so 15.
Excellent. Let's roll 2 dice. 15 or less will be a success.
Come on, get us some momentum.
Perfect. That's going to give you 2 momentum.
Yay.
Woohoo!
So Amelia, as you start working your way up to the house, you see the light. It looks to be maybe a 2-room, maybe a 3-room house. There's a stable behind it. You can hear horses in there. Ooh, good point, Jim. The rule. Who had the rule specialization? You did, don't you?
Oh, yes, I did.
All right, so that would have increased. What that would have done is increase your range for the your critical, but you hit a 9, so it's still not quite big enough. But good call out, Jim. As you start to work towards this light, you realize it's definitely a lantern that's lighting it up. You get to the side of the building. You can hear at least 2 horses in the back. As you peek in the window, you see a gentleman, maybe mid-50s, It looks like he's drinking coffee, maybe tea or something, but he appears to be alone.
Hold it, but she heard voices.
Horses.
Horses.
Horses. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's definitely horses in the stables behind this small farmhouse. Where is Thomas and Lucky while this is happening?
Keeping well back,
Thomas
letting the
is-
scout.
Yeah. Thomas is ready to go forward if needed. He has his pistol out, but he's good at this, but he knows you're better.
Amelia, you hear it, and it's going to be loud enough that both Thomas and Lucky hear it as well. Some vehicles coming from the north, headed south towards the farmhouse and towards where Thomas and Lucky are as well.
Where Thomas is, Lucky's in a ditch.
Okay. So
Yeah.
heading down the road, you can see the headlights. Lucky, you don't need to roll for this. Based on your experience, looks like it might be a Jeep based off of the headlights.
So if Thomas hears this, it's just one building? Are there any outbuildings or anything nearby?
Just the stables and the farmhouse where Amelia's up against the wall, peeking into the window. But all three of you are aware and can hear this Jeep. It's on its way.
So we don't see any headlights or anything yet, right?
You see the headlights of the Jeep.
Okay. Thomas will kind of just take a position, kind of like, so if the Jeep pulls in, it's between him and the house, if that
Okay.
makes sense. And he'll pull his pack off his back and set it down just so his demo kit with explosives are nearby.
Okay. Lucky, you're staying in the ditch.
Yep.
And Amelia?
Is there any like tall grass or bushes or anything I could just like duck into?
With the storm and the rural landscape, I'm not even going to make you guys roll to hide. There's no difficulty in the darkness and everything of you hiding. So the three of you hide. The Jeep slows down as it approaches and pulls in to the farmhouse. All three of you can see this. Two gentlemen step out of the Jeep, walk up to the farmhouse, and knock on the door. Amelia, if you've kept sight to the window, you can see the old man stand up. He walks up. He opens the door slightly, and immediately the two guys push the door in, and you see the guy go flying back. And the two work their way into the house. So I'm going to spend 2 threat, 1 for each of these guys to appear.
Okay. The moment Tomas gets an idea that these are bad guys, he's going to slink over to the Jeep.
Okay.
Are these guys in uniform?
It was too hard to tell. All you could get is shapes. Looking at the Jeep, though, Lucky, it's a German Jeep.
Can I see if they're in
Tomas
uniform?
will fiddle
from the-
with the
Oh, go ahead, Amelia.
Can I see if they're in uniform from the light of the house?
Once they get inside, Amelia, you can see they are both in Black Sun soldier uniform, which is
Of course they are.
Yeah. totally black uniform.
Does the Jeep have Black Sun markings, or is it just a normal German
It
truck?
has no markings on it, but you can tell, by the make that it's a German Jeep.
Tomas I want to use my confident saboteur, and I'm going to rig the Jeep. If they crank it, it blows up.
Okay. All right. We'll have you do that. We'll do a roll for that in a second. Lucky, what are you doing?
Yep.
I'm moving up to and off to the side to cover the window and the door from a distance and drawing my revolver and just being the outside guard, so to speak.
Okay. Ready to take any activity that happens by the window or the door?
Yep.
All right. And Amelia?
Is there like a ledge on the outside of this window at all?
Yeah. Let's have a sill.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead and prop the barrel of my rifle on that sill
Okay. So
and aim.
I think Amelia can hear what's happening inside. And remind me, can Amelia speak either French or German?
She can speak French.
Okay. You're unable to tell what the Germans are saying, but you obviously know they're speaking German. The old man is on the ground. You can't see him from your vantage point, but he's on the ground or on the floor of the house. And he's basically saying, I don't know. I don't know where they are. I'm not a part of this. I don't know anything about a resistance. They seem to be pressing him and getting more physical. From where you are, you then see one of the men reach down and pick up this old man and press him against the wall. And both Germans are just yelling at him.
Guess I'm gonna shoot now.
Okay. All right. What are we going to use to shoot?
I'm gonna say fighting and coordination.
All right. Let's do it.
So that is 2 and 9, so 11. And that's the same 2d20s.
Yep.
Is that-
And we're going to keep it difficulty 1
Okay.
because the storm I don't think is affecting you at all in this scenario.
Okay.
And what you're using the rifle? Yep.
Yep.
2 successes. All right. So the 1 success is going to hit one of the gentlemen. With that 1 success, he's going to get a roll here in a second. You have options for that second success. You could add another die of damage, or you could add a momentum. But let's go ahead and see if he can basically dodge out of this. And I'm going to set his difficulty to 2.
Okay.
He needs a 9. All right. So you're going to hit him. What's the damage on the gun?
4.
4 dice. Do you want to bank the momentum, or do you want to make that 5 dice?
Let's bank that momentum.
Okay. So I'm going to add 1 momentum. So you got 3 momentum.
Okay.
Let's roll that many d6s.
4 d6s. Gonna be 18.
That is going to be 2 stress damage, right? Both of those 6s. Is there a special ability or anything that you can activate on that gun for rolling the 6?
I don't believe there is.
Okay. So you hit him. He immediately falls. The old man is dropped and he falls back. Tomas hears this. Lucky you hear this. Amelia has started to fire. Thomas, how are we going to try to rig this Jeep?
So he kind of rolled under the Jeep and he's looking for the starter line and the fuel pump, and he's just kind of rig it to spark into the gas line if they turn it.
Beautiful.
If they crank it.
What skill and attribute are you going to use?
So I am thinking reason and engineering.
All right. That gives you a target of
14.
All right. Difficulty
And
1.
I have a specialty in explosives.
Beautiful.
Nice.
So if you guys had spent some time with Tomas, you would know that he likes 2 things. Science, but when it comes to not Germans, particularly Nazis, he gets a very fanatical look in his eye.
All right. So that's
He
it.
likes to-
8 and a 13.
Yep.
Is there something you want to do with that extra momentum, or you want to bank it?
I'm just going to bank it. I
All
don't
right.
think there's anything extra I need to do right now.
You guys have 4 momentum now, and you are successful. It's going to take a little bit of time, Tomas, but you're successful to be able to rig this. So if this Jeep
Perfect.
turns on, it's going to blow up. Amelia just shot. Lucky, what are you doing?
I'm making a sprint for the door and standing just to the left of it on the outside, and kind of holding action to see if the other guy comes charging out or whether he's going to try to fight through the windows.
Perfect. So you charge that way. You're not trying to hide, but there's too much activity. They're focused strictly on what's happening inside of that house and the gunshot that just came from the window, the rifle shot
That's
from the
what I'm
window.
hoping for.
So you have no trouble getting there. So Lucky, you get up against the door. You've got your revolver. You're able to even peek in there. You can see the one German shot in his abdomen. He's on the ground and he's bleeding. The other German is pushing away the old man and trying to help the guy that just got shot. Amelia, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna shoot the guy trying to.
Okay. All right. Same thing. What was your target number?
11.
All right. Did you want to spend any of this momentum to add some dice?
Sure, let's spend one. Why not?
All right. So and here's the one thing. It's very easy to be hesitant on spending it. Two things to keep in mind. It maxes at 6. The other thing to keep in mind is at the end of every scene, you automatically lose 1 momentum.
Yeah.
All right. So you're going to spend 1.
Mhm.
That's going to allow you to roll 3d6.
Yes.
3d6 or 3d20.
Or 3d20. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
So what was your target again?
11. So
All
I
right.
got
So
2.
2 successes. What do you want to do with the extra success?
Let's add a damage die.
All right. So normally you would roll how many dice?
I would normally roll 4.
So let's roll
So
5.
this would be 5.
1, 2, 3, 4
Yeah. Yeah.
with 1 special.
You're going to instantly kill him. But I need you to tell me what happens. You squeeze the trigger on your rifle.
I figured Amelia was probably just aiming for this guy's head as he's desperately trying to staunch the bleeding of his friend on the floor who's dying from a gut wound.
We're going to see this from the perspective of our friend who was shot first. He's on the ground. Over top of him, we have his friend, and his friend is trying to take some of his clothing and piece it together to press down, and they're talking to each other. Amelia, you can't make it out. Lucky, can you speak German?
Nope.
Neither of you
French and
can.
English.
Neither of you can make it out. But the guy who is shot is yelling orders, and as that's happening, he just sees the bullet exit, not enter the head of the guy above him, and he falls on top of him. And immediately the guy on the ground screams. The old man is now screaming.
Okay, I enter the room, keeping the gun on the one guy who's still alive and not French.
Okay. He's got a body on top of him. He's got both hands trying to cover his wound. And he's basically in shock at this point. The old man is on the ground, but he's kind of pushed himself up against the far back wall, and he's just got his hand up and just who knows if he's ever seen violence like this before.
In French, I say something along the lines of "Bonjour, mon ami." Hello, friend.
All right.
Lovely weather we're having.
I think considering everything is happening, I might need you to roll on this. So how do you think you want to
I told you, weather doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways to approach this, Lucky, right? So you could approach this as you're trying to snap them out of it. You could
I'm
approach
going with persuasion, and let's go with insight.
Love that combination.
Okay, so that would be a target of 11.
Great. Do you want to spend any momentum?
I think I'll spend 1 because I would like this guy to calm down.
All right, so it's going to be 3d20.
I got 1 hit.
You sure did.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. So 1 success. He says to you in French, he goes, are they dead?
Close. 1 down, 1
Not
alive.
yet.
The German is silent. He goes, are you French?
French Canadian.
Are you part of the Allies?
We're looking for the town. Can you direct us towards it, please?
Amelia and Tomas, what are you doing? Tomas, you have finished rigging the Jeep.
Yeah.
You've heard
So
2
Tomas
gunshots.
walks in.
Yep.
Yeah. He kind of hears the gunshots and he hurries up. And so when he walks in, he sees this scene. He looks at you guys and goes like, well, don't crank the Jeep.
Amelia, what is Amelia doing? Is Lucky is trying to talk to our poor farmer.
I'm gonna walk inside to get out of the rain.
Probably good. Close the door behind you.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's warm. There's a fire going in here. And Lucky, you start having a conversation with this Frenchman. You are successfully able to get him to calm down. Our German has passed out. He is not dead, but he is bleeding out. The other one obviously is dead. The Frenchman explains to you that if you're trying to get to CTHULHU, it's about 5 miles north. If you follow the road, it'll take you directly into the village.
I relay this to Tomas just in case he doesn't speak French. I'm not sure.
He does not.
Okay, then consider the information relayed.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
I
will say, when it looks like the German's passed out, Tomas will shoot him in the head.
Done.
Just coldly. He's not letting that man live.
And I thought Canadians had a bad rep.
Well, no, he's a cold-blooded little shit.
We probably don't want to leave these bodies in this nice gentleman's house.
I would say we should put them into the Jeep. I'll put it in neutral, and Lucky, if we talk to him, I think we should put him in the Jeep, put it in neutral, push a little bit down the road, and then we could, I think it would be a pretty trivial engineering task for me at my level to just put a little timer on it, wait for it to blow with my demo kit.
I'm lazy. I'd rather drive 4 miles than do that.
Don't crank the Jeep.
Yeah, I
Don't
know, but you did. You probably can undo, no?
Probably, yes. I'm assuming I could, yes.
Yeah. So drive 4 miles, then eliminate the Jeep and the corpses. Then we only have 1 mile to walk into town rather than 5 miles to walk into town in the rain.
This is true.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. The former resistance cell leader in me does not like the idea of driving a German vehicle without German uniforms and stuff.
I mean,
if we
there's
come into a
two.
patrol or something.
There's 2 German uniforms right here.
With
Yeah,
holes
but you
and
got
colors.
them
I mean, the
messed
one
up.
has a hole, and they both have
And a lot of blood.
a little bit of some blood.
It's black.
And
It
it's
hides-
stormy. It's stormy out, so who's going to see who's in the vehicle? One person sits up, the other 2 duck down in the back. The corpses ride in the very back, and we just get there and dump it.
He will bow to your field ops on that.
The other reason is I'd rather not leave the corpses right next to this poor sap's house because he'll be a suspect. If we
Yes.
drive 4 miles in, he's no longer a suspect.
You can do that.
It is an awful
Um,
long way to murder someone.
So
I
Tommaso,
do.
what are you doing?
Yeah. I'm assuming with no pressure and time limits, I shouldn't have a hard time undoing what I did.
No. You're
Yeah,
very
got
good
it.
at
1 second.
undoing your own work.
He said, 1 second, he'll go back and crawl back under the Jeep again and re-rig it back to go.
All right. So are we pulling 2 uniforms or 1?
I think we just need the jacket of the guy who mainly got just a bit of blood on the collar.
Yeah, the guy that got headshot.
Yeah. And
All right.
The gut wound one is probably ruined.
does it fit?
It does.
Then I'll drive as long as you can assure me that when I turn it on, I don't become a pilot.
That was to you, Tomas.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm driving.
As we're driving, I do want to use my prototype ability. I'd like to work on, as we drive, I'd like to work on fixing the compass. And as a prototype, the way I'm reading it is, this is a fun one. I think it might make the GM scream a little bit, but this is a fun one. You can construct an user and experimental device with difficulty 2 engineering skill test. When you do, select the talent from the talent section, page 86, and apply its benefit to that device. Anyone using that device can apply the talent to their skill test. Then after each device is used, roll 1d6, plus 1 additional d6 for each use beyond the roll. If an effect is rolled, it stops working. So I'm going to try to improve this compass to add the tracker ability to it.
Ooh, nice. And what does the tracker ability do?
You can follow even the fantasy tracking rules. When you attempt a survival test to track animals, peoples, or other earthly creatures, the first bonus d20 you buy is free.
Interesting. Very, very
Because
interesting.
I'd like to. What I'd like to do is I'd like to try to track where these guys came from a little bit. If we're gonna follow them in the Jeep.
That sounds great. All right. So for your talent, what do you roll?
It is an engineering difficulty 2 engineering skill test.
Okay. So you're going to use
And my
engineering and reason.
I'm assuming reason. It's the derived one. So that'll be another 14 for me.
All right. Do you want to spend any momentum?
Nah, I think I'm good.
All right. So you need 2 successes, 14 or less.
Yes.
Got it.
All right. So you have the compass. Where does MacGyver find the other pieces to create
an
this
engineering kit.
mega compass?
I have an engineering kit, and he just, I don't know, he puts an antenna or something. I don't know what he does exactly, but he has an engineering kit. And he just fixes it in there, you know, and maybe he works like he fits it under a scope and maybe like a magnet from there or something.
So something
he steals the radio from the German Jeep.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what. No, yeah, he gets the German Jeep off of there and he starts trying to use it with the compass and he starts triangulating, you know, like German radio signals nearby.
So I'd be curious, because we haven't talked about this yet. Were the 3 of you brought in independently for Section M for this mission, or are you the 3 of you a crew? Like, are the 3 of you a team? Essentially, I'm asking, is this the first time the 3 of you have worked together? What do we think?
I feel like Thomas has been a kind of a loner since he got to there, just with his backstory of the artifact and like how he got out and met up with him out of there. I don't know. He's done other missions, but he's a bit of a loner. If they're not helping him kill Germans or get back to Prague with weapons to free it. He doesn't really care that much.
How about for Lucky and Amelia? Have you guys worked together before?
I'm quite often a driver, so there's a possibility that I've taken her to where she has to do what she has to do.
That is a distinct possibility. I imagine she has at least heard of Tomas, maybe through rumors or just, you know, water cooler gossip, as it
Tomas
were.
Might be a little bit of a gadgeteer back there. He's probably built you some devices back there. I'm not sure why they sent him out this time. We can work on that backstory. But I think before that, he did a lot of like engineering work back in the base.
You want to go kill some guys?
Kind of cute, like.
Want to go kill some Nazis?
You got tired of being Q. You wanted to go with James Bond.
Yeah,
Amelia.
When the opportunity came up, he gets a weird light in his eyes when he sees Nazis. He gets a little feral looking.
That's fantastic. All right, so we can montage and end this scene. So what I'm imagining is Tomas gets under. Oh, go ahead.
One last question. What were they demanding of the old man?
Yes.
You're going to ask the old man that. The old man.
I am trying. Yeah, I'm not asking for the answer. I'm asking what were they asking for?
They were asking him if he knows where the resistance is hiding and if he's working with the resistance. And he emphatically said, no, I have nothing to do with them. This is what he said to the Germans. I have nothing to do with them. What was that, Mike? I'm sorry.
Of course he did. What good resistance member would say, oh, yes, I'm a member. You want my card?
Do you want to ask him about the resistance?
No, I don't think this is the man we're supposed to meet.
Okay.
And Aramis is a code name. I assume Aramis was a code name?
It's a code name, and there was a very specific phrase Aramis was going to say.
I'm well aware of that. Seeing as this guy has not asked me for a cigarette, I'm ready to continue on.
All right. So we'll montage Tomas not only dismantling his handiwork under that Jeep. We see Lucky putting on the jacket. It fits nicely. Amelia, you're sitting in the front of the back.
I'm gonna sit in the back.
All right.
Seems more comfy to try to duck down and hide back there.
Amelia gets in the back. Both of the bodies we're going to lay up in the very back of the Jeep, right?
Yeah.
In the storage in the Jeep. Lucky, you get in the car. You look down at the keys. Hesitate for a second.
Look over at Thomas. Tomas.
He just gives you a thumbs up and a smile.
Yeah, as long as he's in the car with me, I'll take his word for it. If he was 30 feet away and going, it's totally safe.
So you turn the key and it starts.
And I double check that Amelia, as the chat in the channel says, you have to double check that she's there because one could miss her. And just anyone seen Amelia lately? Nope.
Exactly.
Okay.
And once he finishes wiring, he can give his prototypes to anybody to use.
Excellent.
So whoever is be best at our survivals test, he will be like, here, use this. I think we can track down their radio signals and try to identify like where their base of operations is.
All right. So, do you have to roll to use this to get a sense of where the Jeep came from, or do you want
so
to?
so this is up to the I wanted the best talent I saw. There's a lot of talents I could add. The best one I saw was tracker. When you attempt a survival test to track animals, people, or otherworldly creatures, the first bonus D20 you buy is free.
Got it.
If it was done as part of an extended task, then you inflict +1 stress for each effect roll.
So you're not going to need to roll for this. You know where they came from. This road leads north. You've already been told that north is where the village is.
Okay.
So that's exactly what happens. We see the three of you heading north on the road.
Yep.
As you drive,
We can bank that prototype. Okay, cool.
yep. As you drive, the storm seems to be slowly intensifying.
Good.
You see very dark clouds up ahead. You also see spotlights.
Oh, great.
So there's spotlights that are coming from something up high, up ahead. You get just close enough to realize this is CTHULHU. There's got to be at least 6, maybe 7 spotlights being shown all around CTHULHU. All of the street lamps are off. Smartly, I'm going to assume you stopped.
But
Go ahead.
spotlights are pointing down on the ground or up
Correct.
to catch
Down.
airplane. Down.
I'm going to automatically assume as soon as you guys see what's going on, obviously stop the Jeep
Yep.
to take in that situation.
This is supposed to be a fairly small town, right?
Yeah.
It is a relatively small village. Yep.
And
And
he gave us a location to meet this resistance guy at, right?
Northeast.
yep, northeast. So right now, thanks to the compass, Tomas, you're able to quickly figure out that you are southwest, of course, of the town. Northeast is where you were told to try to find our resistance fighter.
Tomas would recommend once we see actual signs of other like German activity that we should ditch this Jeep.
Yep. Agreed. Can I make a suggestion for you?
Go for it.
A request of Tomas. Rather than blowing up the Jeep immediately, why don't you put a pressure switch under one of the bodies?
Oh, he loves that. Yes, yeah. The former covert operative in him loves that. So yes.
All right, done. We won't roll for it. So you guys ditch the Jeep. You're a good, maybe, let's say, just shy of a quarter mile from the town. So still rural, right? In there. Tomas, all of you remember this, but Tomas, you saw it most recently because you pulled out the map. In the center of this village is a very large chateau. So it's quick to surmise that the towers are from the chateau itself, where these spotlights are being shown down.
Okay. And he did mention that there were troops that were going to be coming sometime soon again as well, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I think we need to find this resistance leader first.
So we're on the southwest corner and we want to get to the northeast corner.
Mm-hmm.
Left or right? I'm not going straight through the town. Hello.
No, I wouldn't either. If Tomas was alone, he would go through there, but not with you two guys. I think
Amelia
we should
could
go.
walk through, but that's Amelia.
Say what?
I said
Yeah.
Amelia could walk through, dressed as a chicken, and they wouldn't notice her.
Yeah, I think Tomas actually could too with facing the crowd, but I think Lucky would stand out.
Yeah.
He doesn't strike me as a subtle guy. So I think let's go. Let's take what looks like the less busy side of town, and let's head around that way.
So in my mind,
hold it.
go ahead.
Which direction is the wind coming from?
So the wind is coming from the northeast.
Damn it.
So we'd be going directly into the wind. Okay.
Correct. So headed east, south of the village, and then heading north, staying outside
that
of.
I
sounds
think
good.
that way. I like that way.
So we'll montage that till we get to the next scene. We see the three of you working your way through out in the rural areas, through small patches of forest, through bushes, tall grass. There's a couple farms, farmland. You don't see the farmhouses themselves. You do see activity, black sun activity. You're far enough away that they have no chance of seeing you inside of the storm and inside of the dark, but you see activity happening. The village is obviously occupied. We're now going to cut to our next scene. Lucky, you hear somebody cursing in French from around the corner. He's yelling, "Where have you been? I've been looking for you all night. And where have you been?" Visually, you can't see anything. It seems to be behind some bushes.
Get in en français, caught in traffic.
Well, he's not saying this to you.
Oh, who's he saying?
We don't know.
Then okay, peek around the corner or get Amelia. Sorry, I'm not doing any peeking. I am not a peeker. And just kind of like.
And Amelia, you
can
speak
go forward.
French, right? So you're
Yes.
able to tell
Yes.
what this is. As you peek around, you see a gentleman, maybe late 40s, mid to late 40s, and he's got two huge cows. And you see him trying to kind of corral and pull the cows in. And the cows are resisting and pulling back. They're all very, very affected by the storm and the lightning happening. And he's yelling at both of them, "Where have you been? I've been looking for you all night."
Le Mou.
Moss just shakes his head. It's like, I hate the country.
Hey there, friend.
I think we
Awful
should go
loud.
around the corner and talk to him.
So Amelia, you're going to turn the corner and say hello?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you scare the hell out of him. So immediately he just stops and he's holding the cows and he pulls the cows closer and he's just very, very tentative. And are you German?
I think that's pretty clear I'm not, given that I'm speaking French.
I'd be so tempted to say 9.
It's the only German word you know.
He says, your French is very good, but I can tell you're not French.
True. Why are you yelling at cows at night in a storm?
They ran off.
They ran off.
They ran off. I have finally found them, and I don't want to cause anybody any trouble. I'm just going to take them back to my farm.
Certainly. From a barn, from a pen?
Yes, just south of here.
Ah.
So Moss will walk around the corner and say, "Why do you care so much about your cows, Arnaud?" Just see how he responds.
He has no idea what the hell you're saying.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I was speaking French. Damn it. Scratches his head.
So he's kind of like, is it okay if I go? Kind of the body language is kind of.
Certainly, I might suggest that you not yell quite so loudly.
Have you seen? Are there patrols? Have you seen
Germans?
here, around here?
Well, not around here, but here. Not in this particular area, but around.
Did you come from the village?
No. Near the village.
Where did you come from?
I wouldn't worry about that. The less you know, the safer it is for you.
So he kind of looks around and he goes, "Are you with the resistance?"
Oh, now that's a question. That's a question you probably don't want to know the answer to, friend.
I'm going to head south. Back
You
to my
do that.
farm.
You do that. Good luck with your cows.
So he takes the cows and he heads south. You continue on. working your way around the town, staying outside of the spotlights and everything. And you finally work up to the northeast part of St. Sulak. And as promised, it's very rural. There's homes, but each of these homes are on like a quarter or a half acre. As promised as well, there seems to be storm doors. There's probably 15, 20 homes.
Okay. By the way, were there any supplies in those Germans we could loot off of them?
What are you looking for?
Grenades?
So no grenades.
Any just basic pistol ammunition or something like that. He's not really that good with guns, but if they
Yep.
had like a submachine gun or something, I'll
Yep.
take it.
So they both had a Luger 9mm, and they both had MP40 rifles.
Nah, Tomas would have been interested in any of that.
Does Lucky or Amelia want to pick up either of those?
I think I'm probably good with my rifle.
Okay.
Cool.
So you're
All right.
now in the promised northeastern part, rural, with these small chateau type homes, all with storm cellars as promised.
All right. Are there people out and about, or looks pretty shuttered up?
All the lights are off. And the one thing that was very noticeable as you were making this trip is any homes that you came by, lights were off. In the village, all the lights are off. Even the street lamps in the village have been turned off.
So just those spotlights in the middle of town. I would say I would look at you guys and be like,
I think you're on
This is-
mute, Mike.
Yeah, I know. I noticed.
Okay.
I said, I'd like to just check our 6 and make sure that the cattleman is not turning around and following us.
He did not follow you. But a
Thank
very
you.
smart move.
yeah, Tomas would have shot him. I mean, resistance is a hard knock thing, you know. You got to break some eggs.
No, we got milk.
Collaborators
we
are
got
a
eggs, we
thing.
can do an omelet.
It's not a tasty one, but sometimes you have to cook it.
How about we approach one of the storm cellars and bang on it?
Ooh.
No, no.
You got a better way? Like there's nobody out walking, no one wants a cigarette.
So you're
Start
would-
breaking into places. No.
you were on kind of the outer edge, right? Between where it gets
Right.
forest and where these homes are. And you start to
Tomas would.
wait, hold.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
sorry, go.
yeah, you start to feel it again in the jaw. The wind starts cutting through you. The headache. It's more intense this time. I'm going to start with you, Patrick. It's going to be
Okay.
4d6.
Fudge.
All right, so that's going to be 4. That's going to be 5.
Ooh, so
So-
I will take 4 because of my courage, right?
Correct. So, which is a good thing because at 5, you automatically get an injury. So the way that you are defeated in this game is you take 3 injuries, and you can get an injury either by taking 5 stress at once, 5 or more stress at once, or by hitting your stress limit. All right, Lucky,
Yep, roll them.
I have got you for 3. I've got you for 5.
I think I'm going to use my foreboding.
Okay. And remind me what the foreboding does.
Oh, I knew you'd ask that. Give me just a second to get
Sure.
to the page. It was my weird talent. Once per session, when you suffer an injury, you may generate 3 threats. So I give you 3 threat, and nothing happens to me.
Can we narratively come up with how this works? So let's say the feeling starts.
And I grab my favorite rabbit split and cross my fingers and just crouch down and go, rabbit, 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 rabbit.
Okay. All right. So go ahead. You're still going to take the 5 stress, but it won't invoke an injury.
Okay, so that brings me down to 4. Got it.
All righty. And
Okay.
then this is going to be for Amelia. Amelia is going to take 3 total. We'll wait for her to come back.
Oh, don't forget to go up 3 threat.
I did. Thank you. I got up to
Okay,
4. I was at 1. I'm now, or I know I added that to the wrong one. I gave it to you as, you guys got quite a deal there. So yeah, I'm at 7 threat. Amelia, you're going to take 3 damage or 3 stress
Okay.
from the headache and the cold feeling.
Oof.
I really want to find what's doing this and give it an aspirin.
So it definitely, you have now changed where you are relative to the town. It's definitely coming from the center of town. And
Yeah.
it, like the storm, it is also intensifying.
Okay.
Oh, can I-
Tomas will offer to. He was like, "Let me go in there and look." And he's gonna hand this pack. He's gonna take his gun. It's subtle, so he can hide it. He's gonna put that under his coat, but he's gonna hand his pack and everything else over to Amelia or Lucky.
Lucky
He
will
just
take
wants
it.
to flip his collar up, and he just wants to use his urban stealth with facing the crowd and just look like a villager, just like hurrying through the town trying to get home,
All right.
and just go straight through the middle of it, and look who he sees.
Okay. So let's
I
do
think with
this.
urban stealth and facing the crowd, he could do that probably.
I agree. I need an observation roll from you. So I need observation plus insight.
Observation plus insight.
It's
So
gonna
that is
be-
a 10.
All right. It's going to be difficulty 2. Do you want to
I would
spend
like
your,
to spend a momentum. I'm
All
going
right.
to spend the momentum on this. 3 dice.
put you at 3 dice? We need 2 successes of 10 or under.
Ugh. Nope.
You want to spend a fortune to re-roll 2 of them?
I will spend a fortune to reroll 2 of them. Wow, the dice hate me tonight. Got a
You
6.
Got your second
Got rid of the
success.
20, thank God.
So
Yeah.
Tomas is working his way, kind of trying to blend in as much as possible, not walking down the middle of the street. And one thing stands out, Tomas. There is one storm cellar that you come across that is actually covered. The door itself is covered from the rain from the eve of the house, and it has 2 bloody handprints on it. You're within visual distance of Amelia and Lucky if you want to notify them.
Yeah, he will just hold his hand up and be like, kind of point to it.
Can I ask one quick question weather-wise?
Yep.
The wind when we were in the southwest was coming from the northeast. Now that we're in the northeast of the town, is it still coming from the northeast or is it coming from the southwest?
It now seems to be coming from the northwest.
From the northwest. Okay. Just wondering if the weather is natural. Like the beginning to question it, and if we get an orientation change, that would confirm my minor suspicion. I move clumsily but slowly up.
Carrying two men's worth
2
of
packs, yeah.
Yeah,
Amelia,
I'm assuming I didn't see anybody else in the town outright. Yeah, so
Amelia, you're
He will-
approaching as well.
Yes, but much more stealthily.
So I walk up alone.
Tomas will take a step over. He'll take his pack from you real fast, and he'll point at the handprints on the door. Then he's going to point to himself and just mimic like going around behind the house. And he'll point at the front door for you 2 guys, and he's going to point himself and go around behind the house. And I'm going to try to go to the back of the house.
Well, the storm cellar is in the back of the house.
Oh, it is. Oh, it's a storm cellar. Not,
Yeah.
yeah. I was thought my head heard storm door for some reason. So
No.
never mind.
It's a storm cellar that obviously leads under the house.
Then never mind. He'll point at it and he'll. Yeah, I'm not gonna drop a grenade there. So
I point at myself and point at the door.
Go for it. He's standing back with his pistol out.
Yeah, just boom, 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 pound on the door.
So you pound on the door, and as you're pounding on the door, you can tell by the vibration of the door that it's obviously locked on
Yep.
the other side, right? So you hit at that thing hard enough that, if it was unlocked, the door would have popped right open as you're hitting it. It takes a second or 2. You hear a clank as obviously a bar is taken off. and the door peeps up, and you see a face from the nose up peer through. Who does he see?
Me.
Just Lucky?
Yep.
He doesn't say anything. He just looks at you.
I'm right behind Lucky. I kind of poke my head out around him, kind of wave.
He's just
Thomas
staring
just
at you.
leans over, kind of in the line of sight.
You see him close the door, but you don't hear it latch.
Smoke him out.
Well, actually, I was thinking of lighting a smoke just to see if I can cue the code. So I'd pull out a cigarette, light it up.
So you see it maybe takes 30 seconds, 20, 30 seconds. You see the door open again, the storm door open again. You see eyes and a face peek out, but it's a different face.
I was about to ask, yeah.
With a thick French accent. May I have a cigarette?
And I offer the pack saying, I only have Lucky Strikes.
He opens up the door completely. You can see that he's only using one hand. He's obviously covering a wound on his gut. And he steps back, leaving the door open, and he flags you in.
Okay, I go in first.
Lucky starts down the steps. Amelia and Tomas.
I'm gonna wait till those two are all
Yeah,
the way
Thomas.
down before I holster my gun and come down.
Okay. They are.
Okay, then I'll holster my gun and I'll holster it and come down.
See, I'm
Really?
very brave when I know the two with me are more violent than I am.
you have the license to be stupid.
Yeah.
What's Amelia doing?
I was coming down behind Lucky, just kind of casually carrying the rifle and shaking as much water out of my hair as I can.
So from outside, we see Lucky and this strange person's head just vanish into the storm area. We see Tomas's head vanish. We see Amelia going in last. We see her reach up, shut the door behind her as we fade to black. We're going to jump to credits. We'll be right back on the other side.
Science Train University Resistance.
All
Finally.
right, we are back. I think I'm going to start with you, Victoria.
Okay.
We did two things, right? So we got to build characters and we got to play. As somebody who's built a lot of characters in her career in many different systems, how did you feel about the process here?
Honestly, the process was pretty streamlined. Like there wasn't a lot of confusion. There wasn't a lot of math I had to do, which was great. Um, like working off a PDF makes it a little bit harder to flip back and forth between like talents and focuses and whatnot, but it all seemed pretty simple, honestly.
With the style of character creation, I think one of the fears is that it won't be you won't feel like it's your character. Did you feel like you ended up with a character that is unique in yours?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
absolutely do.
Yeah.
I mean, you still make choices
Yeah.
regarding how exactly your skills fit into your particular character, and it's not like you're rolling dice to be like, oh well, this is my background and this is my characteristic or whatever. Like, obviously you can do that, but it doesn't force you to.
Right.
So no, I very much feel like Amelia is my character, and I got to pick who it is I'm going to be playing.
So very quickly, how did you feel about the mechanics in play?
Once I got used to them, they're fine. Rolling under as opposed to like over is very Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Not super happy with my dice tonight, but that's a different thing.
That's a different issue.
The mechanics are fine, and I feel like I'll understand them better as I continue to use them.
Yeah, this is my second time running it, and I still don't feel comfortable yet. Which is, I still can't decide. It feels dicey to me. But then I have to remember that this is Pulp, right? So so that's kind of part of the look and the feel of it. I need to get more used to threat. Like I'm sitting here on 7 threat, and I don't think I should allow that to happen. I think as a GM, I need to
That's a lot of threat.
to utilize that and put the pressure on it and make it hurt a little bit, when I'm, picking up threat. So I think I need to learn how to do it. I love the setting. And I like this scenario as well. It's interesting how it is very specific about going scene from scene. So things are framed scene from scene, which is not, I mean, this, Victoria, like I kind of do that, but not as structured as the way this is. So I'm still trying to get my head around this. Mike, is this your first time playing?
For 2D20, yeah.
Yeah. What are your feelings?
I do like the character creation because I like having some choice and not be at the mercy of a bad set of rolls, and all of a sudden you have an int of 3. Yeah. Or I don't know if you ever played Traveler way back in the day, where you could literally die during character creation. And I one night spent an entire evening creating one character after another, killing them, and then starting over and making another character. Yeah. So that's a little on the extreme side for character creation. But I had a concept that, I looked at the rules and kind of said, yeah, Grease Monkey. And I haven't played a lot of it yet, but I have a feel for this character. And that's a nice way on the first day of a play to already get a feel for the characters and what they do and how they, get into their heads. So, no, I like the world. I keep humming Indiana Jones in the background to this for myself, just going for that, pulp and Nazis feel. That's pretty much the touchstone for that as far as I'm concerned.
For sure.
No question about it. How about the mechanics in play? How did that feel for you, Mike?
That felt fine. Although I agree with Amelia, I'm used to trying to roll over a number, not under. So, thinking, come on, X, and instead I'm trying for Y. And also the damage, I could read it fairly fast, but it's, 2s are wild, 1s are normal, 4s, 5s, and 6s are normal but bad. We didn't play much with the added, although you did give that instant death to Amelia for the 2 bads that she rolled, and I understand that. But that's once we get into a more more encounters. So it'll be
Mhm.
interesting to see how this plays out. A lot of what I look for in a game is to not get bogged down and spend an hour of just dice. Okay, that's the first 30 seconds. Now we get into the main
Yeah.
combat. Oh God.
No, that is definitely not me, my friend. I'm the
but
exact
y-
same way.
and so we'll see how that is once
Yep.
the mechanics kick in and we get into something more than ambushing two poor saps who are roughing up an old guy.
They
Um,
deserved it.
Hey,
So-
I'm an old guy. I agree.
Patrick, when you said that you wanted to play, you bought the book, so you've been reading up on it and getting some familiar with it. I'd be curious. Those are two different things. One is reading the book and kind of digesting the book. It's another thing to
Yeah.
play. Is there anything about the character creation or the play that you noticed or picked up on that you didn't pick up on just reading the book?
I did kind of notice as building it, it kind of came into what Mike said. It reminded me a lot of that Traveler Light, in that I felt like I could show my character story progression in the way I built the character.
Mm-hmm.
Started as an academic and then got pushed into this saboteur resistance route, and I could show that in the character creation, which was very interesting.
Yeah.
That's been my favorite part so far. I can't judge the mechanics good enough yet, honestly.
Yep.
There's parts I like, there's parts that I'm not sure yet.
Yep.
It feels very, very open-ended, so I think that's a large variety of experience right there. It's like, I feel like it's got room to make whatever you want out of it, which could be good, could be bad,
Yep.
depending on your group.
No,
By the way, I
I
want to give a shout out to steam-powered scoundrels over there who helped us out with the rule once or twice.
that is Victoria's other half. And he's a rock star. He plays he's currently playing, Doug is playing in my Icons game currently, and then you can see him in one of my Star Wars adventures too. Doug's a good dude. I didn't realize, so I wasn't paying attention to the chat. Was Doug throwing out rules?
He
He's-
suggested he reminded us of the rural role.
Oh, I think that was Jim actually that did that.
Was it?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
Jim.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Jim, people who are familiar with my work, know Jim, and he knows rules, man. I love playing with Jim because if I miss something, Jim is really good about catching it.
Yeah, you're right. It was Jim.
Yeah, Jim is great. All right, guys. So what we'll do is we are going to schedule another game. So keep your eyes open. For those of you that are watching, make sure you're following us on the socials. So follow us on Twitter as well as Facebook. That's how you know what's coming up. Following us on Twitch obviously gives you notifications, as well as if you're watching this on YouTube. Last but not least, one of the benefits of being a patron of Third Floor Wars is, one, we keep being able to make content, but two, you get first dibs on getting a seat, just as both Victoria and Patrick have done. And that's one of the benefits of being a patron for as little as $1 a month. Patrick, any shout outs or plugs?
Not for me right now. No, it's just a cool game. I like it.
Cool. Mike?
The other game you usually find me connected with is EVE Online. And I run a charity in that game. I
Oh,
know
that's
that sounds
cool.
really weird, especially if you know EVE Online, because it's famous for scams and backstabbing. And I'm known in that game as one of the few honest people, which has
that's
got to be
cool.
one of the scariest things to be known as in a game like that.
That sounds exactly like something a scammer would say.
That when I'm talking to new players in that game, that's
Honest Mike's
That's the
EVE
one thing.
Online.
That's the one thing I tell them is, I want you to consider a game famous for being scam and backstabbing and huge, intricate, and somehow I have formed a reputation as being an honest man, and worse, an honest politician in the game.
Oh,
Nice.
And so I have no idea how that developed, but that's where you'll find me. And if you follow me on Twitter, which is where I'm most active, it's at Mike Azariah. And you'll see a lot of stuff connected with EVE Online as well as this once we get this up and flying.
That's awesome. Victoria, let's
Yes.
just plugging.
Plugs. I am 1/4 of the Steam Powered Scoundrels. No, 1/5 now. 1/5. We've added a fifth. 1/5 of the Steam Powered Scoundrels, a Malifaux podcast. We just released the first part of a Malifaux Burns. No? Oh, that's tonight. Oh, well, tonight we're dropping patrons only the first half of a Malifaux Burns overview. And then this Saturday we're going to be recording another ship episode. For those of
Nice.
you who are familiar with the podcast, one of the more popular formats for whatever reason. Our esteemed host Craig was on the last one, and then Doug is going to be on Harlefaux soon, so look out for that one.
Nice. Nice. That's another great show. All right, guys. For everybody watching, I appreciate it. We're gonna go raid one of my favorite channels in all of Twitch, and that's the Stream of Blood with Jared Logan, who's a friend of the show. So we're gonna head over there.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, tell them the Third Floor Wars sent you. Take care.
Guess.
Oh, that was great. Hey, Mike. Nice job, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, you never know, right? You never know what it's gonna be like when you play with new
Having
people.
a
But I
total
thought it was
stranger
great.
come into a game.
Definitely. All right. We'll talk on the chat and we'll figure out some more dates. Okay.
Sounds
Awesome.
good.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you, guys.
Talk to
Thank you. Speaking.